Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and today is a very special edition of This Week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh. There are many important aspects related to our lives that we'll be discussing today. Let me have the pleasure of welcoming you, Dr. Sahab. Namaste. Swagat hai.
Namaskar, namaskar.
So we go from some local and things that are very close to our hearts, and then we go towards the international issues also. But I want to begin by paying our tributes to commonly loved person, your close friend and former president of AAPI as well as Rana, Dr. Ajay Lodha. Thinking about your memories of having spent time and having worked with him, what comes to your mind?
Well, he was a great, very close friend of mine. Was a great human being, a great physician, and very caring physician, and great community leader. And actually, before he became a sick with the COVID, a couple of weeks before that, we all traveled together to Mar-a-Lago, Florida, to meet President Donald Trump. So we spent 2 days together there, and we had a really very fond memory of spending time in Mar-a-Lago and meeting the President Donald Trump. And after that, when we came back 2 weeks after that, he became kind of infected with the COVID. And from there, he went downhill. But he was very great fighter. He fought the COVID illness so vigorously. We did the family did everything, whatever possible, including lung transplant. But we lost him at the end. And really, we miss him. Our prayers are with him and his family. God bless him. And really, it was lost to me personally, lost to our community, AAPI community, physician community, and it lost to everyone, those who knew him or those who knew about him. So really, God bless him and go and rest in the peace. And that's what we pray to the God.
So that is absolutely true, Dr. Saab. But someone who has worked closely and has served with passion leaves, it is very difficult for people around to sort of bear that loss. And we switch our focus towards COVID. COVID's third surge is declared, and we have to be again extra cautious. So, but in the meantime, we have heard about vaccine, etc. So, how do you feel about overall situation of COVID and how much concern a common citizen should be?
Well, currently it is very, very bad situation. The infection rate is very high. And this week, holidays are coming, and in spite of warning to people, still yesterday there were 2 million people were on airport, and that is not good sign, because that will end up getting more spike next week, and that is a bad news. So again, everyone has to kind of follow the instruction, follow the guidelines to prevent or minimize the surge of the new infection. Number two, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. That 3 big vaccine, successful vaccine from the big pharma, Moderna, Pfizer, and AstraZeneca, has been data are out, and they say all those 3 are very effective vaccine to prevent COVID infection. So we are very hopeful, and I think out of 3, 2 will be available probably in the market in the 3rd week of December. So only 3 weeks away. So my urge or my kind of request to all of everyone to next 3 weeks be more extra careful, wear the mask, keep the distance, and don't get together, not even with the family member, those who are not living with you for last 15 days, because these are the small gathering at home or private gathering right now. They are the super spreader. So be careful. 3 weeks are not too far. Once vaccine is here, then you should inoculate yourself. I mean, get inoculated with the vaccine, and that will really will curtail. And by next spring, hopefully, pandemic will be under complete control.
Hopefully the pandemic would be under complete control. These words sound very, very good. But now if we try to understand why this again surge, where do you see lies the reason so that we should avoid it? Do you think it is related to something which has happened in the recent past in America, be it the election rallies or people gathering to converse or to go for voting, or
I
what
mean,
might have triggered?
I don't think it's from the election rally. I mean, that could be one of the factor, but more than that, people are still, going out, socializing in the evening, going to the bar and restaurants, and plus they get together with the friends because they think that when you get together with the known people, usually you don't get COVID, but that's not true because there are so many people who carries the infection without any symptoms, so there's no way to know who has infection. And when we meet our friends, close friends and close relatives, we do not follow the guidelines. We we don't wear the mask. We eat together. We don't keep the distance. And I think these are the super spreader right now. And we have to be very careful about it.
So we should not put our guards down, and being careful is, as they say, prevention is better than cure. And once you start slipping, then it leads to very fatal state that we just talked about. Now, we have seen election results came, and there are lawsuits in the process. But yesterday, uh, for the first time, it seems that formal transition has kicked in. Uh, the legal team of President Trump failed to convince some courts. Probably they won some cases. But how do you see where we are politically right now in America?
Well, politically, I think both the candidate has right to exhaust their legal avenues or legal whatever legal rights they have to figure it out whether everything went well and everything went legitimate and so forth. And that's what President Trump is doing it. But since President Trump has, it was good news that he agreed to let it transition starts officially. That is a good sign, and then that shows that hopefully all the transition will happen very peacefully, and no one should worry about any uneventful or unpleasant episodes to play.
And I would read out the tweet by President-elect Joe Biden. And again, there are some people who say that till uh, President Trump has not conceded, it's probably technically not correct to call him President-elect. But then again, leaving that part aside, his tweet is, the election is over. It is time to put aside the partisanship and the rhetoric designed to demonize one another. We have to come together. And I think the need to unify always exists. But considering the way the country is polarized, how easy or difficult it is likely to be for President Biden, your take on that?
I think it all depends upon how this legal challenges pans out. If legal challenges pans out, and if there is no evidence or there is nothing there, then eventually there will be unity, and both the side will slowly will come together, and we hope for that. But otherwise, there is always first few months of a couple of years, because polarization is so much. So, and idea of philosophy or ideas of ideology are so different. So it's bound to happen. Little disagreement, but eventually, time will heal and it will work out.
And talking about unifying and different interest groups that work in politics, I share a part of the Indian American Muslim Council's press release, where they, while compliment President-elect Joe Biden for having picked Anthony Blinken's as a nomination for U.S. Secretary of State, they conclude by saying that they look forward to President-elect Joe Biden and U.S. Secretary of State nominee to implement the recommendations of the U.S. Commission for International Religious Freedom by putting India on the State Department's list of countries of particular concern, CPC, a designation that USCIRF made over a year ago. Now, these are some of the issues which were discussed even before the election. And so there are going to be opposing forces to these ideas, as well as some other ideas. The ability of the new leader to reconcile with various forces is always a challenge. Do you see that potential in President-elect Biden to meet this challenge?
So I think probably President Biden administration will be challenge for India, because the president and vice president, not mainly president, but vice president Kamala Harris, she is known for her liberal and leftist views, and that may create herself or her supporters or administrative appointees may create a problem for India. It will not be a smooth sail as it used to be in last administration.
I think very, very profound words. And as we move towards the concluding part of our conversation, former President Barack Obama's book also talks about India at length, brings about reference about Rahul Gandhi and Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. But overall, the way you have seen Prime Minister Narendra Modi having worked closely with President Obama as well as with President Trump, moving forward, how do you see India's likely approach and potential relationship with America under new administration?
Well, India, I'm sure Prime Minister Modi will do his best to keep the very good relations with the U.S. administration. But I can see that knowing Vice President, President, and their advisors, there will be a challenge. There will be challenges, and there will be little disagreement between what government of India thinks about any subject, including minorities and including China, including other things, and what this incoming administration thinks about it. There might be some challenges, but I'm sure always in diplomats, they know how to smooth out everything and work in favor of both the countries. So it will be fine.
And lastly, as you have been very active with the Indian caucus, do you see any additional proactive role that Indian American community should play in the light of the changing circumstances?
I think so, because Indian American community should try to recruit more congressmen into the India caucus, all more senators into the Friends of India caucus, because by doing that, always any conflict between or any disagreement between USA and India is easy to smooth out, and we can gain a lot of foreign direct investment to the India, as well as strategic defense strategy can work better if Indian American becomes more proactive and educate our congressmen and senators. That's always a good idea, and that's the only way to make both the countries to work together in their interest.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sahib, and your parting words for our viewers from today's show.
Well, I mean, parting word again, I would stick to the COVID, because COVID right now is very, very high. There is a definitely third wave here. A lot of almost 20%, 10 to 15% of the people are infected. And during holidays, if people do not observe the CDC guideline, they may end up having more COVID infection next week or week after. So be careful, follow the guidelines, and and be safe. It's only a question of 3 to 4 weeks, and you will have vaccine, and that will help to end this horrible pandemic. So please careful, stay safe, and stay healthy. Goodbye. We'll see you next week. God bless America. God bless India. Bye-bye.